Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this session, we are going to discuss about the reference model in cloud computing. Let us have a look on the cloud computing reference model with diagram. Where the cloud computing reference model as a software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and Web 2.0 interface. With the given figure, you can see the information about the cloud computing reference model. In software as a service, it is used in a end user application, scientific application, office automation, photo editing, CRM, and social networking. For the example, Google's document, Facebook, Flickr, and Salesforce. The next one is platform as a service. It's a runtime environment for application, and it is development and data processing platforms. And examples for the platform as a service is Windows A Azure, Hadoop, Google App Engine, and Anika. And information about the infrastructure as a service, it is a virtualized servers and it has storage and networking. And the examples for the infrastructure as a service is Amazon, EC2, S3, RightScale, and vCloud. And the cloud computing reference model, the in-demand availability of the computer system resources, particularly data storage and processing power. Without the user's direct involvement in as a cloud computing, large cloud frequently distribute their services among several sites, each of which is a data center. To accomplish coherence, cloud computing depends on sharing resources. It often uses pay as you go. It's a pay as you go is unforeseen running expenses for users. The hardware and software elements necessary for a cloud computing model's correct executions are included in a cloud infrastructure. With the increased demand in the cloud computing across the world, the definition, structure, and the use of the cloud computing have increased. So there will be different perspectives on using their services and various services that may differ from client to client or location. This is where the cloud computing reference model comes in. And the cloud reference model is an abstract model used to standardize the functions and parameters of cloud computing so that various cloud services and vendors across the world having different technologies and can communicate with each other and opt for online cloud training courses and stay ahead. And let's see what is the cloud computing reference model. The cloud computing reference model is an abstract model. As you can see, the cloud computing reference model is an abstract model that divides cloud computing environment into abstraction layers. The reference model is an abstract model and which divides the cloud computing environment into the abstraction layers and cross-layer functions to characterize the and standardize its functions. This reference model divides cloud computing activities and functions into three cross layers and five logical layers. Where the reference model has three cross layers and the five logical layers, and each of these layers describes different things that might be present in cloud computing environment, such as computing system, networking, storage equipment, and virtualizations, software security measures, control and management software. And it would also explain the connections between these organizations. The five layers are the physical layer, virtual layer, control layer, service orchestration layer, and service layer. These five layers are the logical layers. And the cloud computing reference model is divided into three major services models, such as software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. And the diagram you see is explain it's a diagram of cloud computing reference model with the major three services model such as SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. The cloud computing reference model overview. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service are these are the three most relevant and cloud delivery models, and together they have been widely adopted and formalized. A cloud delivery service model is a specific pre-configured combination of IT resources. It's a combination of IT resources and made available by a cloud services provider. but the functionality and a degree of administrative control each of these three delivery types of offer cloud user varies. And this abstraction layer, which is the abstraction model, divides the cloud computing into the abstraction layer that can also be considered an a tied architecture where services from one layer can be combined with services from another. For example, software as a service can supply infrastructure to create services from a higher layer. Let us have a look on the layer of the cloud computing reference model. And these are the layers of the cloud computing reference model: infrastructure as a service, software as a service, platform as a service. Where software as a service is a scientific application, social networking, end user application, and platform as a service is runtime environment, data processing. And infrastructure as a service is a storage and networking and virtual servers. Next, we will see about the types of cloud computing reference model. There are various types of cloud computing reference model used based on the different requirement of the consumers. The most important type of the cloud computing reference model is the cloud reference model in cloud computing. The National Institute Standards and Technologies, which is NIST, is an organization designed by the US government, USG, which is US government agency for the adoption and development of the cloud computing standards. And the principles of the NIST, which is National Institute of Standards and Technology Cloud Computing reference architectures, are these are the principles which you can see. And create a vendor neutral architecture that adheres the NIST standards. And the second one is create a solution that doesn't inhibit innovation by establishing a required technological solution. Another principle is the NIST cloud computing reference architectures provides characteristics like elasticity, self-servicing, and collaboration of the resources. And the service model includes the service models involved in these architectures are software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. First, let us discuss about the software as a service. The software as a service is a form of application delivery that, that relieves users of the burden of the software maintenance while making development and testing easier for services providers. The cloud delivery model's top layer is where applications are located. End customers get access to the services these tier offer via web portals. Because online software services provide the same functionality as locally installed computer programs, and consumers or users are rapidly switching from them. Today, ILMS and other application software can be accessed via the web as a service. In terms of data access, collaboration, editing, storage, and document sharing, software as a service is unquestionably a critical service. Email service is a web browser, and it's the most well known of the widely used example of a software as a service, which is an email service in a web browser. And but software as a service applications are becoming more cooperative and advanced. And these are the features of the software as a service are as follows. The cloud consumers has full control over the cloud services, and the provider of the control software applications based on services. And the cloud provider are partial control over the implementations of the cloud services, and the consumers has limited control over the implementation of these cloud services. Second, we will discuss about the platform as a services. The platform as a services is a strategy that offers high level of abstraction to make cloud readily to programmable in addition to infrastructure oriented clouds that offers basic compute and storage capabilities. Developers can construct and deploy apps on a cloud platform without necessarily needing to know how many processor or how much memory their application would use. A platform as a service offering that provides a scalable environment for creating and hosting web applications is a Google App Engine, for instance. And the features of the platform as a service as follows. The cloud provider has entire rights to or control over the provision of the cloud services to consumers. The cloud consumer has a selective control based on the resources they need or they opted for an application server, database, and middleware. The consumers get environments in which they can deploy their applications and database. These environments are usually very visual and very easy to use. And the another features is providers options are scalability and security for the resource user resources. Services to create workflows and websites, services to connect users to cloud computing or other external platforms. And the last model is infrastructure as a service. The infrastructure as a service offers storage and computing computer resources that the developers and organizations use to deliver custom or business solutions. Infrastructure as a services delivers computer, hardware, servers, networking technology, storage, and data center space. As a service, it may include the delivery of operating system and virtualization technology to manage the resources. Here, the more important point is that infrastructure as a services customers rent computing resources instead of the buying and installing them in their data centers. The service typically paid for the usage basics. The service may include dynamic scaling so that if the customers need more resources than expected, they can get them immediately. And the control of the infrastructure as a layer is as follows. The customer has full or partially control over the infrastructure of the cloud servers and databases. The consumer has control over the virtual machine's implementation and maintenance, and the consumer has a choice of already installed virtual machines with pre installed operating systems. The cloud provider has full control over the data centers and the other hardware involved in them. It has the ability to scale resources based on the usage of the users. It can also copy data worldwide so that data can be accessed from anywhere in the world as soon as possible. Next, we will see the interaction between actors in cloud computing in cloud security reference model. First point, instead of contacting a cloud provider directly, a cloud consumer may request service through the cloud broker. The cloud broker may combine several services to form a new services or may improve an existing one. In this illustration, the cloud consumer interacts directly with the cloud broker and it is unaware of the actual provider. With the help of the diagram, you can understand easily that if the cloud consumer want to contact with the cloud provider, instead of direct contact, the cloud consumer may request to the cloud broker. There, the cloud broker combines the several services in a new service or to improve the existing one. So, the cloud consumer interact directly in the cloud computer and it is unaware of the actual cloud provider. The consumer contact the cloud broker instead of the cloud provider. And the next one is an unbiased evaluation of the functionality and security of the cloud services implementation is done by the cloud auditor. Interaction with the cloud consumers and the cloud provider may be necessary for the audit. And this is the diagram of the above interaction, which is the cloud auditor, cloud consumer, and cloud provider. The interaction of the cloud consumer and cloud provider must be necessary to the cloud auditor. The third point is the connectivity and delivery of the cloud services from cloud providers to cloud consumers are handled by cloud carriers. With the figure shown, how a cloud provider arranges and participates in two distinct several level agreements. One of the two distinct service level agreements are one with the cloud carrier and one with the cloud consumer. To ensure that the cloud services are used in consistent level in accordance with the contractual responsibilities with the cloud consumers, a cloud provider negotiates services level agreements with the cloud carrier and may ask for dedicated and encrypted connections. In this situation, the provider may express its functionality, capability, and flexibility needs in the SL2 to meet SL1's basic requirement. And these are the service level agreements, which is SLA. Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe.